Good morning, children. Let us start today. The modal verbs. What is a modal verb? A modal verb is a verb that changes or modifies another verb. So it is basically a helping verb that supports the main verb in a sentence to produce a particular meaning, to give direction to the meaning itself. So, number one, they can drink, where can is the modal and drink is the main verb, in a way where without can only they drink would have meant something else. So, they can drink, okay? Can do. So, they can drink. Next, number two, she will go, where will is the modal and go is the main verb. So, will is basically supporting the meaning produced by the word go. Next, you shouldn't wait, where shouldn't is the modal verb. Next, I can't think properly, where can't is the modal verb and think is the main verb. Example, see the sentences with the word have to, has to, mustn't, doesn't have to, don't have to. You have to do it. They have to learn. So basically, it is revealing necessity. So in the first picture, you can see that it's about necessity. It is necessary. She has to sit. Joe has to go there. Next one. It reveals prohibition. Mustn't. You mustn't do it. She mustn't watch this. They mustn't see it. We mustn't go there. Next. Joe doesn't have to do it. She doesn't have to learn. They don't have to say it. I don't have to go there. And doesn't have to or don't have to is not for what is necessary. Means what is not necessary, okay, is revealed by this two things. See the usage of may. Use may and might to speculate about the past. Why isn't John here yet? You can easily see that it is said by the man present over here. Now, the lady says, I don't know. He may have missed the train. So, something which had happened or which have already taken place. So, that activity, okay, or which has taken place, okay. So, that activity or activities are being conveyed by the use of may or might. Next, use could to talk about ability in the past. I could have been a professional dancer, but I broke my leg when I was 17. So I could have been something. Okay? But it hadn't happened, suppose. So I could. Next, Rob must have eaten my cake. Past modal verbs. So, Rob must have done something. Okay. Must have eaten what? My cake. Use must to talk about what is believed to be certain in the past. The bicycle has disappeared. It must have been stolen. So, it must have been stolen. Students, these are basically about recent past. Use would to talk about past possibilities and consequences. If I had passed my exams, I would have become a doctor. If I had passed my exams, I would have become a doctor. So, someone would have become something if he would have passed his exams. Here, basically, I'm telling this. Here, I, the very thing, the very indication of I has been given. So, I had passed my exams. I would have then. If I had passed my exams, I would have become a doctor. Negative would plus not plus have plus past participle. He would not have crashed the car if he hadn't drunk so much. Once again, he wouldn't have crashed the car if he hadn't drunk so much. Questions. Do you think you plus may or might plus have plus past participle? Do you think you may have lost your keys? So it's a question. Use should to talk about past mistakes, recommend or criticize strongly. You should have been here 2 hours ago. Sorry, there was traffic. Next, negative. Could plus not plus have plus past participle. Wow, 100% on your exam. You could not have done any better. Well done. So, wow, 100% on your exam. So, you have got 100 percentage of marks. Okay? You could not have done any better. Okay? So, if someone gets 100%, then definitely he had performed very well in his examination. So, he had performed very well and he could not have done any better than that. Will. See the example. I will give you a call on Monday. Next, I will take these books with me. First one is promise. I will give you a call on Monday. So that is basically a promise. Next one. I will take these books with me is an instant decision. Next one. We will book your tickets if you like. That is an offer. Next one. We will see an increase in salaries next year, which is certain prediction. Next modal. Would. Would you mind if I opened the window? This is definitely asking for permission. Next one. Would you make me a coffee? A request. Suppose you are telling to your friend, would you make me a coffee? Next. Would you be available at 6 p.m. tonight? So basically, this is for making arrangement or arrangements. Next one. Would you like to go out sometime? This is an invitation. So, would you like to go out sometime? Next, would you prefer the window seat or the aisle? Preferences or preference. So, what would you prefer to have? Next modal. Shall. Shall I get the phone? Or will you? Asking what to do. Next one. Shall I call a cab? So, shall I call a taxi? It's an offer. Next one. Shall we see 9 p.m. at Emmy's then? It's a suggestion. So, shall we say 9 p.m. at Emmy's then means shall we meet or shall we say that we are going to meet at 9 p.m. Where? Emmy's means a restaurant, suppose, or a coffee house. Next. Should. You should see a doctor. You don't look well. It's an advice. We should get a specialist. Recommending action. So it's about recommendation. It's about stating or commanding about an action. Suggesting. Next, salaries should go up next year. It's an uncertain prediction. So it's a prediction, although uncertain, or although with having uncertainty. Next, ought to. You ought to go to the dentist before you leave. It's an advice. So you ought to do something. Ought to is almost parallel to the word must, or it is almost equal to its relevance, its usage, or what we use for is almost equal. So, what for must is used? Almost for that much necessity or that much obligation, ought to is used. Next word, must. I must leave now to catch my train. It's an obligation or necessity. So I must leave now to catch my train. Suppose the time for the arrival of my train is coming near and I should leave. I must leave. So I must leave over here. Next, you mustn't ask too many questions. So it's prohibition. So it's completely saying no, suppose, to something. You mustn't ask too many questions. So, anyone, suppose one of your elders is quite annoyed with your frequent questions and he or she is telling you this. You mustn't ask too many questions. Thank you, students.